BetterHelp is a good litmus test to find YouTubers that actually do research into their sponsors. Anyone remember the buy a tree to become a lord in Scotland? They seriously got like every other YouTuber to run ads for them. Most YouTube sponsors you see loads of are likely below average. Gotta spend all that money on advertising instead of the product after all. For a non-American, BetterHelp felt a little too close to something you should be getting recommended your doctor rather than a YouTuber about. I'm out of the loop. Is it a good sign or a bad one? Most YouTubers don't care which sponsors they pick up, and frankly, with the amount they get paid, I don't blame them. It sucks, but the solution is to use your own judgment to decide whether or not something is worth getting. That way, the only losers are the crappy companies like BetterHelp dishing out 5 figures for no return. Do people actually watch the sponsor segments? I've always just skipped those. Who wants to watch that shit? And furthermore, do people actually consider whether or not a sponsor is any good, based solely on what a paid YouTuber is saying about them? One of the YouTube channels I subscribed to had a TMU plug comment section was rightly vicious. Behind the Bastards has talked about how they don't get a lot of say in what ads they have to run. Robert is still obligated to read print for BetterHelp, despite being well aware of how shit they are. Best he can do is mock his sponsors when he kicks to ads. This video is Brew 10s10s10s10s and Manscaped, and basically any VPN, and Raid Shadow Legends. Come to think of it, Louis Rossmann is the only YouTuber I've ever watched who appears to do honest, ethical paid product reviews. If I wouldn't use it in my own repair shop, I wouldn't try to sell it to you guys. Anyone remember Wen and Reardon from How to Cook That, a channel that regularly talked about dodgy YouTube practices and debunked dangerous life hacks? Shitty products took a sponsorship deal from TMU. Deleted the vid but never acknowledged or responded to the backlash. That was a letdown. Dr. Becky is still shilling for BetterHelp, while hundreds of viewers leave comments complaining about it on every video of hers for months. I finally pulled all my support and stopped watching her content. A lot of sponsorship comes from companies like Stitcher. There are also usually not clauses anymore where the sponsored can't badmouth the service off-show. I have definitely heard hosts of podcasts talk shit about BetterHelp off-air. On a semi-related note, I think Blue Chew using young adults to market to teens and young adults is super weird. If you can get it up naturally, you shouldn't take any trendy boner medicine at all. They should market to a much older demographic. Yeah, my sister is a therapist who used to work for BetterHelp. She says it's probably the worst form of therapy possible, as it's weirdly anonymous and just hard to work with. Ouch, I thought Glenn Howerton knew it all medically. Let me guess, freeze eye? And if they fight back by deleting comments who mention that BetterHelp is a harmful scam and keep taking their money, that's a really good way to know that they don't care about their audience's mental health or data that BH sells. Like, they're basically just saying you should spend hundreds of dollars just to a stranger who will trigger your past eating disorders or try to convert you into being straight and/or cis. I don't particularly care what products they advertise though. I'm not buying any of it. This is the one thing I can't get behind with cinema therapy. I love them so much, but they even double down on using BetterHelp as a sponsor. I have not seen any YouTube sponsorship or advertising that carries any credibility in my mind. I especially hate certain popular YouTubers that do really crap jobs of telling the audience exactly how much of whatever service or product they are showcasing or reviewing is actually sponsored. Now that I think about it, I'm much more influenced by podcast sponsorship and advertising, but even so, there is a lot of low-quality crap out there. Look into the whole cast media situation. So I'm tangentially in the industry. I do freelance camera work and do second and third camera stuff for a few different channels when needed, and have a bit of insight here. Ad buys in online media are getting very lean. There just aren't enough good advertisers wanting to buy ads on anything but the biggest channels right now. The fact of the matter is that unless you want a lot of the mid to low level creators to disappear, you'd better get used to turning a blind eye and realize that most creators are scraping the bottom of the sponsorship barrel because they have no other choice. Some channels just need the sponsorship revenue. That's why I wouldn't sign up for any YouTuber recommendations. Unless it's directly tied to them, most of the time they turn out to be shady. Johnny Harris' favorite sponsor. For all his usually biased deep dives and deep research into the subjects he covers, you would think he would research his own sponsors. Is that something only real journalists do? Honestly, at this point, if they run ads on YouTube, they're a scam. I can't think of a single YouTuber that didn't at one point promote them. It's very disappointing. I use BetterHelp and my therapist is amazing, just like my former one. The app sucks, but that's my only complaint. Ruined best ever food review show for me. I'm glad we're asking more of them, but how is it a surprise that people will promote anything for money? TV, radio, the overall internet, etc., has always worked like this. I don't know why I would believe a YouTuber more than any TV show host. Odd that god-awful movies and the scathing atheist podcasts hosted by some frighteningly smart and principled people still advertise BetterHelp. Sponsor block is a thing. Tired of being marketed to in general. My guess is that the sponsors are run through a conglomerate or they are stuck in long contracts. Several YouTubers that I really think are good people have them despite them going against their morals. Binging with Babish would absolutely not use them if he had a choice considering his more recent mental health struggles. Who watches the sponsor part anyway? Who gives a fuck? Go get paid. It's all skippable anyway, lol. Louis Rossmann and Bruce Etherboss are one of the only few people who do honest sponsorships nowadays. 100 agree. I was mad disappointed to see Death Battle plug them. I follow a pretty good Venezuelan YouTuber. He can advertise whatever he wants and they could pay like shit, but the USDs to VES conversion is exorbitant. And fucking Arab, I swear to God it's like I'm the only person that remembers those infomercials for kids with the cups that smell like fruit to trick them into drinking more water. It's the same thing. It's just a scented water bottle and it's being marketed as some luxury health product. Do Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey do fucking live reads for BetterHelp on the Office Ladies podcast? I get not having a lot of control on ads if you're part of a podcast network like Earwolf, but they absolutely have veto power over live reads. I expected better. Plus they definitely have the popularity to be picky about advertisers. You don't need a VPN for privacy or security, you can't become a lord with a souvenir plot, home delivery of ingredients is unnecessary and incredibly expensive, they don't actually play that mobile game, you are not actually getting BetterHelp, 2 pieces of steel and not a wallet. Be extremely suspicious of any sponsor product, it is extremely expensive to advertise this way and you are the one paying for it if you fall for it. Ooh. Thanks, didn't know BetterHelp was a scam. Thank you op for posting and commenters, I see YouTubers talk about BetterHelp all the time and did not know. CinemaSims use it as a sponsor, I'm sure the guys mean well too. I love how Tom Scar goes overboard with his Surfshark VPN ads. A lot of them don't have control over that, if they're part of an organization. If they have a parent organization of some kind, they contract out to a third-party group and that group would be responsible for what advertisements they do. For me, it was when all the YouTubers started shilling Raycon earbuds. No fucking way I'm paying almost $100 for some mediocre earbuds. Or how desperate they are for pay. I've seen YouTubers I otherwise respect shilling for it. Look, it's a hard market, there's not a whole lot of money in being a YouTuber, especially in the middle tier, I'm not gonna begrudge them too much for shilling shit to make rent. How do you figure that? So if a YouTuber did their research on BetterHelp, they wouldn't endorse it, and we would know this how?